Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Misha and I'm writing a book. Welcome to part 2 of the July writing challenge. If you've missed part 1, I'll actually just link it in the description below. But in the month of July, I'm hoping to write 50,000 words for the first draft of my manuscript. I started the month at about 20,785 words, and so by the time I'm done, I should be at 70,785 words. Do I make it? Do I survive this? Welcome to part 2 of the video. Let's go. Let's see where I get to. It is currently Saturday, July 19th. And I am feeling a little bit behind on my writing goals. Right now, my word count is sitting at 48,063 words. I wrote about 3,031 words today because I'm trying to catch up. This week has just been a bit hectic with me coming back to my parents' place and just helping out with my aunt while I'm here. My aunt has dementia, so I'm just helping take care of her. It's definitely thrown off my schedule a little bit. It's 9:12 p.m., so I'm kind of hoping I can maybe hammer out 2,000 more words tonight. But now that I'm in Act 2, I do feel like things are rolling. It's still quite heavy in terms of where things are at right now. There are some lighter moments that I am excited about because writing some of the heavy stuff is intense. I feel it all as I'm writing it. Like I really feel like I am my characters, or I'm living with my characters so closely that when they're having certain memories or feeling certain emotions, I really feel that as I'm writing it down. It's been a bit of a struggle, to be honest, but tomorrow's kind of like my only other full day, so I hopefully will be able to surpass 50,000 words. Well, not 50,000 words in this month, but 50,000 words as like my total word count goal. If I reach that and write another 2,000 words tomorrow, I'll be back on track with my writing goals for the month and being able to complete 50,000 words this month. What's really cool about writing books is that, you know, you really get to explore and uncover someone's story and someone's life. And because I learn things as I'm writing them, I'm mostly a pantser. I know somewhat what my character's like, but as I'm writing, so much shifts. If you don't know what a pantser is, it's basically someone who learns their story as they write, versus a plotter is someone who typically does quite a bit of outlining before drafting. Most people, I find, land somewhere in the middle and do some level of outlining and navigate the story as it unfolds, and as they write, they also learn new things. So I kind of fall a little bit in the middle, although I don't really do that much outlining. I do learn a lot about my characters, so I do a lot of character sketches, like journaling for my characters. Knowing my characters really well is very important to me, although I still continue to learn a lot as I'm drafting it. And oftentimes I know personality traits that they have, but I don't understand their history or their background as well or as deeply as I do when I finish my first draft. It's kind of feel as you go kind of thing, at least for me, and I'm really excited to continue writing. Can we have a 5,000 word day? I don't know. My aunt's asleep now, so I have the night to myself. I am hoping we can crank this out. Let's do it. I try not to make a habit of writing in bed. I actually never write in bed when I'm in my own apartment, but I am at my parents', so I was writing in bed. Well, sue me. Anyways, I wrote 5,017 words today, which is mind-blowing. It's currently 11 p.m., and so it's not even midnight. I can wash my face and wind down and get bed. I have surpassed 50,000 words. My total word count is 50,049 words, which is also wild. I'm so excited for that. I was really worried about the setup for a really big scene that is going to unfold fairly soon, and the logistics of it were just making me a little bit stir crazy. I was racking my head about how to make it work in a way that made sense and was believable. And then I just wrote it and it made sense. And then things that I should have been able to come up with by just thinking, but wasn't able to, I just wrote down. And suddenly the setup for that scene that I was so worried about, it just made sense. It makes sense now. So every time I discovery write, I'm blown away by how magical this process always feels, because you really don't know where you're going, and then you're like, how am I even gonna get here? And then you do, and then you do, and that's so cool. Anyways, I'm gonna go to bed. I wrote about 1,756 words today so far. I think I'm gonna get a couple hundred in just so that it's around 2,000, and I'll be feeling pretty good about where I'm at with this challenge. I spent most of the day editing a YouTube video, which definitely took a lot of time, but is something I'm feeling pretty good about now. And it's hard switching from screen time to screen time because I was just not feeling in the zone of my book. And I find that after having a really high word count writing day, the next day my brain is like, I don't want to do it today. But I got back in it after taking a little bit of a break, and I'm in the flow of things a little bit more now. So I'll write a little bit more and maybe call it an earlier night. I mean, it's almost 9 p.m., so it is technically going to be a little bit earlier than I typically finish writing. Not going to continue only because I'm at a good part to continue on tomorrow so that things stay flowing. I'm also noticing that I already knew this about myself, but I wear a lot of black. Any day that I'm not wearing black, which is not today, but on a day that I'm not wearing black, please know that I'm intentionally choosing to do so because I'm doing it for you and for the hours of editing Misha that is going to be looking at myself wearing black every day and being like, why does it look like you're editing the same day? Wear a different color. I don't know if I own a different color. I have definitely surpassed the midpoint, and there's already parts that I'm recognizing I'm going to have to condense a little bit in the next go around, especially because we're leading up to a pretty big scene. And when I write first drafts, I have to write everything so that I know what happens. But when I go into the next draft and polish it, the reader, you don't need to know everything that I need to know. But as someone who is writing the story, I need to know every piece of dialogue and everything that happens in between. That's why my first drafts end up being fairly long, just because I really want to flesh out every part of the story, even parts that aren't going to make it to the next cut. I'm at 51,805 words right now, and I'll probably stop around 52,000 words. I'll get in a couple hundred more and call it a night. I know that there's a lot that's going to happen still. I don't know how long this draft is going to be. I mean, we're past the midpoint, but Act 2s are just long. I was going into this with the goal of like a first draft being 100,000 words. And that's me being concise with the first draft, because I've had past drafts where I wrote like 130,000 words. And I don't want to do that. But if it has to happen that way, then it's going to happen that way. Hello, I I'm wearing black again. What I find really hard is that while I'm working, I actually feel like I have more energy to be writing, and I can't. Having just like an hour-long lunch break, I would like to be someone who uses that time to write. It takes a little bit of mental energy to just shift into writing mode as well. So I just don't have brain space to be able to go back and forth as much as I'd like to. And a lot of other times I have been more of a morning writer. And so I'd wake up before work and I'd get a lot of my writing done then. For some reason, right now, especially, or like for the next 2 weeks, taking care of my aunt while my parents are away in London visiting my sister. My mornings are a little bit not as routine as they typically would be. And I also find that lately I've just not felt like writing in the morning as much. I just find that at the nighttime has felt more easy for me to get into the zone of things, and so I'm just going with that. I don't know if that'll shift later on, but you'll know if it does. Yesterday was a weird night. I definitely didn't feel as motivated to write in the nighttime. I was so exhausted, and my aunt didn't recognize me. I mean, she has dementia, and so some days she can understand who I am. Sometimes days she thinks I'm my mom. It also took a little bit of like that emotional energy. I definitely feel that weighing on me while I'm here. I found that yesterday was a little bit more challenging, although I did manage to write 1,500 words, which I think is still fairly good. I am currently at 53,619 words. I'm realizing that I have about 10 more days, including today, to write like 17,000 words. I'm trying not to think of it that way. I know that I talk a little bit about like meeting my goal and not meeting my goal each day. I have my own calendar that I've created for word count goals, and I haven't necessarily aligned it with the way that NaNoWriMo, for example, has. I've kind of aligned it with my own schedule, and I have my daily word count goal, which is set to the number of words that I think I can meet on weekdays, because on weekdays I don't have as much time or energy after work, after a full day of work, whereas on the weekends I have a little bit of a higher word count goal. So my word count goals throughout the week are about 1,500 words, and then from Friday to Sunday it ranges from 2,500 words to 2,000 words. And the last day I have about like 839 words to write, and I'll have met 50,000 words this month, and will be over 70,000 words as a total word count for my novel. I'm so curious if that means that by the end of July, will I be in Act 3? I don't know if I actually will. Because as I mentioned before, my first drafts are long, and the pacing is obviously a little bit all over the place because it's a first draft and I'm learning the story. The next stage is going to be my developmental edits, which is my favorite type of editing. My developmental and line editing are my favorites. Copy editing are not my favorite. I don't like copy editing. Oh, I don't like copy editing at all. I need to learn to like it. Like, I love rejigging around the scenes, making things work, rewriting, changing up the pacing of things. And then the line edits are so fun because I get to really spend time which like line by line and look at it and see how it flows and be a little bit more nitpicky about how I want things to be written. I'm feeling like I'm making pretty good progress. I am excited for that phase when it comes to, which is hopefully going to be this fall. My goal is to be able to be done with revisions and finalize the book to the point where it's ready for hopefully querying, either by the end of 2026 or the beginning of 2027. I want to give myself a little bit of runway for not knowing, how much work needs to be done to this, given the fact that I haven't even, read it through. I'm still writing the first draft, and I already know and can see some things that need to be reworked. It's definitely going to be at least another year of work after the first draft, potentially a little bit more. I want to get it to a good stage, and I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards traditional publishing, and that's more so because of the collaborative nature of it. And I realize that
both avenues, self-publishing and trad publishing, they're just very different. I think the one thing I really struggle with is how expensive it can get. And also I love having like a team. I love having a team. Writing is such a solo endeavor, and it's something that is deeply personal and introspective. Adding on this really deep collaborative element would bring me a lot of joy to have, an agent who is advocating for the stories that I write, and editorial team, a marketing team. Like, having people behind your story, I think, is something that I really want and I'm really craving. And that is kind of more so why I want to take that route. It's a long way down the road, at least right now from the stage that I'm at, but it's something that I want to continue to think about. It is currently Wednesday, July 23rd. It's almost 9 p.m., but I have written since I was finished work. Yesterday, I actually ended up not writing. I was just feeling so exhausted by the end of the day, and so I was like, I'm just gonna take the night off. And I recognized that I have to write like 17,000 words in 8 days. Well, now 7. And I was like, I don't know if I should really take a day off, but I really needed it. I'm glad that I took the night and slept early and just kind of had a little bit of space for my brain to rest. Today, I actually ended up writing 2,567 words. I am currently at 56,196 words as my total word count. To hit my monthly goals, I have to write 14,589 words by the end of July 31st, which feels a little daunting, not gonna lie. I actually think I'm just going to read tonight. I am going to read Cat on a Hot Tin Roof by Tennessee Williams. This is really random for me. I actually joined a drama book club 2 months ago, and I'm really enjoying it. We're reading different plays, which is just a medium that I don't otherwise explore as much. Like, obviously I've read Shakespeare, but outside of that, I haven't really read plays. Our last book was 2 different plays. It was I Wish You Were Here and English by Sanas Tusi. The first one is just about Iranian students who are all taking this English language class in the hopes of being able to pass their English as a foreign language test. One of the greatest challenges that one of the students spoke to in that play was really about how they felt like they weren't themselves when they were speaking English. They weren't funny. They weren't making the same jokes. They began to question their own sense of identity and felt like they were losing their identity. It was just beautifully written. The book club isn't until August 11th or something like that, so I think I'm gonna finish this fairly soon. Reading plays is very dialogue heavy, and so they're pretty quick reads in general. I want to continue reading plays, even just to improve my own dialogue. So I'm gonna read this tonight and have a cozy night in. I'm very excited for that. I haven't read in a little bit because I've been in such a writing mode, and I normally don't consume as much, and I don't really read while I'm writing first drafts, so I'm excited. And we're back at it. It's 9:41 p.m. and I am exhausted, but I've written 2,065 words today. Feeling pretty good about that. I have higher word count goals for myself for the weekend. I think I'm gonna make this 50K in a month. My total word count is 58,261 words. I am still in Act 2. I already know that now Act 1 is too long. Like, I know it needs to be, I already know I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna condense it. I don't know how long this book is gonna be because I haven't even gotten to some major events that are meant to happen. I can feel the buildup of them so much more now, but I am not there, and I hope I can get there in the next week or so. I had quite a rough day today at work, and some days are just really hard.
working in advocacy. Sometimes it's great and meaningful and beautiful, and other days you want to crawl in a hole. And today I want to crawl in a hole, but this has really helped. And I had a call with my friend Megan, and she was telling me about where she's at with her book. For reference, is going to be self-publishing her book, and it's going to be released in the fall. So I will share more as I am allowed to. I am so excited for that, and I think it's so inspiring just to see her take this journey into her own hands. This is like her life's work that she's going to put out there, which is very vulnerable and beautiful, and just so proud of her. That was a call that I really needed. I feel like I'm energized by it. I don't look like I'm energized, mostly because I'm just tired. But I am very emotionally energized by that call, and it was really fun to get to talk about both of our projects together and where we're at in the journey. It's really nice that I have her as a friend to talk about these aspirations and dreams that we have for ourselves and our lives, and just making progress towards them, which is really nice. I am really enjoying where I'm at in the story. I feel like I am past the, oh, I don't want to jinx it. This isn't even real wood. It's not even real wood. It's not even wood. Because so much is building at this point in Act 2, I am flowing as I'm writing, and I'm still doing that thing where I cut myself off from writing, especially when I'm at a good stage and before I end a scene, because then I'm really excited to come in the next day, as opposed to finishing when I feel done or when I feel a little bit stuck. And that's really, really helping me right now. The interesting thing about book writing is that you grow so much as both a person and as a writer. Like, there's so much healing, I think, and self-reflection. You see themes in your life and elements of yourself and people that you love in your stories. That's something that usually doesn't click with me until I'm in a later draft, but I'm already starting to see some of those connections here of like, oh, this seems to be a theme that I am grappling with in my own life. It's really interesting to be able to kind of work through novels and stories, to be able to, unpack some of that stuff. It's very therapeutic. I am getting ready to do some writing. It is Friday, July 25th. I filmed a YouTube video. I uploaded all the files. It's so long, so it's gonna take me a while to edit. However, the lighting is so bad. My skills in color grading are bad. Like, they're like not good. I am playing around with it, and I might end up refilming it, to be honest, just so that I'm feeling better about how it looks, like, visually. Whoa, what is going on with my hair? What is this hair situation happening right now? This is like a ponytail that has gone broke. It's just gone its own way. I'm actually gonna switch into writing mode and then come back to this video and see if I want to refilm it, because I'm not super happy with how it looks. And maybe there is a way. Maybe I'm just not like skilled right now at being able to adjust lighting in a way that makes sense. I just feel like when I was recording it, the lighting seemed fine. And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's not. I'm not in the writing mode because I've been in work mode, and I need to switch, and it's 7 p.m. So I'm gonna switch into a bit of a work mode now. Writing mode, and see where it goes, because I want to write down a couple thousand today. My goal for this weekend is to write 8,000 words. So let's get that going. I just filmed a whole thing talking and yapping for like 15 minutes, I think. I didn't record. I have written about 2,038 words so far today. It's almost 1 p.m. It's like 12:45, and I am pretty
happy about what I've written so far. However, things have changed again, but in a way that I really like. In a way that I like. Oh my God, my wires are everywhere. One thing is that writing in my parents' kitchen, because I'm staying at my parents' house right now, I am right next to food. So then I just walk over to get more food, and I just munch on it, and I bring it over, and that's my distraction. My distraction is just opening and closing the fridge and opening and closing the fridge. This morning, I was just not in the mood to write, and I was just sitting there at like 9 a.m. being like, gotta do it. Gotta do it. This is your day. Saturday is your writing day. Okay. Also, yesterday, I had the goal to like write 2,000 words, and I did not write 2,000 words. I wrote like 740. So, you know what? That was overly ambitious of me because it was a Friday. It was a Friday, and I had work, and on working days, I shouldn't be putting all these goals, these high word count goals on myself. Now, everything's different again. So I spent some time this morning kind of going over what scenes am I working towards. And I think just feeling like really resistant to writing, I was like, okay, like maybe it's because I'm not feeling super connected to what's going to happen next. So let's like really just think about that. So I stared at a wall. I listened to Vienna, the cover by Greta Ray. And then I started like visualizing the scene a little bit more. And I was like, oh, that was a great background song to listen to during the scene that I am writing. I was listening to Sex and Candy by the Unions. And then I was like, I need to stop listening to this because this is actually perfect to listen to for another scene that I'm going to write. So I did write bullet points of what is going to happen next. I think I feel a lot better about the story working this way. And I was just sad about it. And like processing the fact that this needs to be the end. Although, is it gonna be the end? I don't know. Because I feel like every time I'm like, oh yeah, this is the end, obviously. These are all of the scenes that are gonna lead up to this part at this point. It changes. It changes. It all changes. And I'm like sitting here talking to you all being like, everything's changed again. So happen again. But right now, I am feeling pretty good about where I'm at. So today ended up being a bit tough. As I mentioned before, I'm taking care of my aunt right now who has dementia. There's good days and there's off days that she has, and today was definitely an off day, which was tough. I did end up writing 4,030 words today, which feels really good. And I also did some editing of my YouTube video. I'm probably done half of that. It takes a long time, so I'm going to work on that quite a lot tomorrow. But that means this month, so far, I've written 42,247 words. That's wild. I've surpassed 60,000 words of writing, that like in terms of total word count, which is, what do you mean? I have about 7,000 and something words, 7,753 words left to write by the end of this month, which honestly feels more doable than it did yesterday. Just because I had a really good writing day today. I feel pretty proud of myself for being able to even achieve and surpass the 40,000 words in a month, because I think that's just, it's wild. I don't know. I just wrote quite a lot. Right now I'm in like one of those in-between scenes where there's an important scene that's coming and there's more of a build-up to it, and it's still building. And I think when I go back, the building of it will be a little bit more sharp and condensed and like flow better. But obviously in first draft mode, I am not being concise about anything because I have to know the full story. It's like almost 10 p.m. and I think I just want to watch Gilmore Girls. I'm pretty proud of what I was able to accomplish today, even given the fact that it was a tough day. It was a tough night, I would say. Hello, it is currently Tuesday, July 29th. On Sunday, I actually ended up getting sick. So I don't want to film myself. And I actually didn't even end up writing. I was just editing my YouTube video and called it a night after hours and hours and hours of editing. And then yesterday, right after work, I actually got straight into the writing zone. I feel like, okay, just a couple of days ago, I was like, oh, I'm not someone who would write on my lunch break. And then yesterday, I wrote on my lunch break. Yesterday, I wrote about 3,100 words, which I felt like for a Monday, I was like, oof, that was pretty good. I was a little bit anxious because on Sunday, I was meant to write a lot because I wanted to write 8,000 words over the weekend, and I did not do that. I did make up for it yesterday. And today, so far, I've written 968 words. My goal is to maybe write about 2,000 by the end of today, which I feel like is fairly doable. I'm kind of in the flow of things. I am getting kind of emotional, and it's because I'm almost in Act 3. Like, I can feel Act 3 coming. Like, literally in the beginning of this month, I had written 20,000 words, and now I am at 67,450 words. Like, I've written, like, over 45,000 words this month, which is crazy. Maybe I'll just want to get into Act 3. Like, whatever it takes to get into Act 3, I feel like I can maybe do that today. Is that too ambitious? I don't know. Okay, so it's currently 9:38 p.m. I've written 3,241 words. Okay, I don't know why I said I was really close to Act 3. I was like, oh, I'm like 2 scenes away. No, I'm not. I'm like quite a few scenes away. I can just like feel it coming, you know? I can feel it coming. And so I said that because I was feeling delusional, clearly. Technically, I only have 1,062 words left to write, and I'm done this challenge. So I have tonight, which I'm debating whether I should write more or whether I should just kind of call it a night, because I can write 1,000 and so words tomorrow pretty easily. My parents are coming back from London tomorrow. When they come back, I definitely want to spend some time with them because then I leave for Montreal on the 31st. And because those 2 last days, like tomorrow and the day after, are a little bit scattered, like I'll obviously still have a little bit of time to be able to write. And I think I can hammer out 1,000 words tomorrow for sure. I don't want to rely so heavily on it just because I also want to be with my parents when they're back. And then after traveling, I don't know if I'm going to be a little bit out of place and wanting to just kind of set myself back up and get back into routine and get groceries, unpack, do laundry. I guess I'm starting to really feel like I can see the end in sight. I can see Act 3. I can kind of see how it kind of comes together. I have some question marks left that I am worried are not going to get resolved in this draft. And maybe we'll have to be a draft 2 thing if they don't get resolved. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in draft 2 yet because I'm not on draft 2. So I need to stop thinking about draft 2. I need to think about this draft. I need to think about this draft. So I have about 1,062 words left to write between today and tomorrow, which I would like to get done today, and I think I can. My parents get home from London at like 7:30. I would like to get those words out before they get in, just so that I can spend some time with them and help them unpack and settle in once they get back to Canada. I'm feeling hopeful that I'll be able to achieve it, especially because I wrote over 3,000 words on a Monday and a Tuesday. Like I can write 1,000 words on a Wednesday. I'll see if I can do that thing where I wrote during my lunch break. It worked for me the other day, but outside of that, I haven't done that before just because it's really hard to switch from work mode into writing mode and then back into work mode. And I'd rather just be in work mode when I'm in work mode and then finish the day and switch into writing mode afterwards. Now that this month is coming to an end and I am feeling Act 3 on its way. I am also feeling like I think I can finish this first draft in August. I really feel that. I don't know how long this first draft is going to be, honestly. So maybe if I aim like for it to be overwritten, then I'll say like maybe 40,000 words in August, and then it could be less than that when I finish. It could be like 20,000 or 30,000 when I finish. Who knows? Who knows? I might do a little bit of writing during my lunchtime, but I will probably do it more so after work is finished and in the 2 hours that I have. So I want to be able to maybe wind down a little bit early today at work, maybe around like 4:30, so that I have like 30 minutes to really switch my brain, which I feel like maybe is ambitious. I don't know. Let's find out. I did it. And I wrote 1,123 words today, which is crazy. It's July 30th. So I did it a day before the end of the month. And so this month, I have officially written 50,061 words. I could actually keep going, but I have to start cleaning up and get ready before my parents get here from their flight. And I just want to do like the garbage and sweep a little bit and clean up some of my things. But I did it. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. It has been very up and down. My word count right now is 70,846 words. I started this month at 20,785 words. A lot has happened in a month, and I'm so excited to kind of continue this momentum. Maybe not as hard. Not as hard as this. I'm excited to continue the momentum in August, though. But again, not as hard. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, please let me know in the comments below. How are your writing goals going? Do you have any goals for the month of August? I'll likely be making a video just reflecting on writing 50,000 words in a month because I haven't done something like this before. And I have found that there's some things that I really enjoyed about it. There's some things that I think were a bit daunting, overwhelming. I'm really happy that I was able to make it. Am I going to do something like this again? I don't know. Oh, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye.